Hey, welcome to the DPP channel, and today we have a very interesting hero matchup. Alright, it's going to be the Lady Black from the hero from the new Shy anime, and of course we do have it against the Class A Deku from MHA. So both players have a very simple start as they just both play basically the zero cost from their hand. Not gonna do too much here, but let's talk more about the Shy new IP. So Shy introduced a very interesting mechanic, especially with Lady Black, basically healing. Alright, healing in Union Arena. Alright, it's a very how do I say, a very afterthought kind of card, or rather mechanic, given that it actually ruins some, not say ruin, but like it changed the dynamic of the game. So some games that I have in mind is basically like Digimon with the yellow hybrid. For those who know, you know, yellow with Anno and Mum. So interesting how they're gonna bring Union Arena, or rather introduce Union Arena, the mechanic of healing. Of course, the healing here doesn't really have a trigger, given that Lady Black can only heal non-trigger cards. But if you ask me, using life as a resource instead of using your bodies can actually be very strong, given that the opponent will have to use their bodies instead of your own life. So we do have the Izuku special coming down to actually kill off their spirits, because their spirits actually a very simple double damage. Just have to look at the top card of your deck, and if it's a non-trigger, you basically gain the double damage. Very simple and very straightforward, and that's usually what Lady Black is all about. It has a very simple gameplay, given that most of his cards are non-trigger. But however, we're gonna see how the explosiveness is gonna be, or rather how ridiculous healing can get sometimes. We're gonna push out the Shy from the back row to the front line here, and we're gonna raid Lady Black from the energy line, allowing him to draw 1 and basically heal 1, and putting him back to 7. Alright, so as good as the attack didn't go through, and with life as a resource, like I said just now, you can actually use bodies to push your opponent harder. It's going to use the Lady Black to actually put one of the Lady Black on top of the deck, basically, which allows him to use the spirits to actually reveal the top card, add it to hand, and when revealed, it gives impact +1. Not going to do too much here because the attack is obviously going to go through anyway, and the opponent is not able to add the rather trigger card from the top card of his deck to his hand, so it's unfortunate. He's going to play down the spirits. He has a second copy in his hand, and we actually totally see 3 copies already, so pretty strong player. The right player is going to get hit in the first life, hitting to active trigger, not going to do too much, and just going to pass the turn. Now, the opponent definitely had 7 life, but of course, what we done in the previous turn for the MHA didn't really do too much, and this is where the advantage really comes in, because now you are in a race of life and bodies. So you're going to play the Zero now, looking at drawing 1 and discarding 1, discarding the Friends event card. Alright, using the last AP, he's going to go for the Friends here, alright, which allows him to basically choose 2 effects, allowing to rest 1 and then playing 1 card active, of course with the energy requirement. He's going to play the Tenya. I think the idea is that there's no Deku in the drop zone, so he didn't go for the raid here, so he's going to play for the flat body, hitting the no trigger first. So I think something that we can learn from this is basically to hit the opponent's other life, and then leaving the last revealed life at the second life, because the idea is that you want to really make sure that you can actually gamble enough, because if you were to hit the last few life that is not revealed to you and it's a special or color, it can be very detrimental towards the late game, because everybody counts towards the late game. So it might be a better idea to hit the exposed life towards the end. So we do have Pepesha here to look at the top card, and of course getting a free +1 from there. Easy +1, and gonna go for the Cheers, basically the final, allowing to withstand 2 AP. Gonna play down the Spirits here, and then going for the newly introduced red card as well, also known as Spirits, which basically is a UG. Alright, it bounces the opponent 4k deck to hand, and if you want to, you can actually discard 1 hero card with no trigger, and it gains impact 1. Sounds familiar with Sukuna if you ask me. So basically, we do see Lady Black coming down to the attack, and then of course you're gonna hit to the color, very fortunately resting the Spirits here, deterring the aggression. But however, this game isn't looking too good, because he has 3 4k bodies in the front line and we barely have any, and of course he does have the life advantage as well, and we don't actually see the other Lady Blacks yet. So we're gonna go for the final here after going for the AP draw 1, and then of course capturing all our cards. We're gonna go for the Tenya leader, which allows us to discard 1 and to play 1 Deku from the drop zone in the front line, I believe. Alright, basically to set up for the bodies. Then we go for the 1 more raid here with the Ochako, which allows us to pay the AP1, and then play another Deku in the back row. So basically we do have the 4K bodies ready, but however in a battle of 4K bodies, the one with the advantage here is definitely Lady Black, given that he has additional life. And speaking of additional life, he does hit into a no trigger Lady Black here, which is very fortunate for us, but however, we do hit into a red Lady Black, which allows him to draw one and place up, basically heal one. And he's back to 4 already. It's as though there's not much attacks being done in the previous turn, which is pretty unfortunate, and in this battle of racing to the 0 life, it's very scary, especially against decks like Lady Black. And we do see him actually going for the special, killing off that Ochako. Very unfortunate because Ochako is actually pretty strong in these kind of matchups, given that the opponent, all of them are 4K bodies, and Ochako can't be blocked by 4K. And we do see him actually revealing a final in the top card, and he's going to actually go put it to the bottom because he does want to activate the Spirit's effect, hitting to a no trigger here, which gives her a double damage. Pretty scary, and we do use Pepesha's skill here to actually add it to hand. Free advantage, and the right player doesn't get the card added to hand. That's unfortunate on his end. We're going to see a double damage to the life here, and we can't actually afford to take it because in a battle of the race of the life, basically, like I mentioned over and over again, you can't lose that battle. And we're going to see him actually swing with the other bodies, and we're going to hit down to potentially 2 life here, which is pretty unfortunate because in a battle of 4Ks, if you were to lose your bodies so early, you actually can't challenge your opponent. And then we are thinking about blocking the leader here, but if I were to block it, I'll do have only potentially just 2 4Ks attack. It's not going to do too much, and we do hit into an active Ochako at the last life. Very unfortunate, but it is what it is. And this is where the games really go downhill for the right player here, because in general, the Class A Deku deck don't really have any ability that touches the opponent's board. And we do go for the Izuku, looking at top 4 here to basically look at, pick up 2 cards. And we do see actually 2 specials in the top 4 going down to the bottom deck, and this is unfortunate because we really want those special in the live, given that we really want to touch the opponent board. And this is where we actually just going to go for the 0 here, drawing 1, discarding 1, and then going to go for the Bakugo playing active. So immediately we have 4K bodies again, but however the opponent does have 4 life, very healthy. Given that he hit into 2 Lady Black, he should be in 2 life now. And this is where 2 life is very dangerous for the opponent because the Midoriya does actually have the impact 1, but with the 2 extra life that he gained, it really helped him to really stabilize the board. We're gonna go for the leader swing here, and he does decide to block it, and of course leaving the Midoriya go for the last attack, hitting into a 2nd life, and of course we go into a 3rd Lady Black, and which push him back to 3 life. And this is where things obviously is already downhill, but it gets even more nail in the coffin, I would say, because now officially we are going to be looking at the race to the finish. And of course, you do see how the Lady Black just constantly going for the plays here. He go for the Blitz, which allows him to play alongside with the Spirits, and then of course gaining impact 1, and he does actually choose to give the impact 1 to the Spirits instead. Alright, very interesting choice because usually I'll put it on the double damage instead of the impact 1 already, because I mean impact 2 is strong, but impact 2 is only 2 damage if the opponent block. So if you were to pressure with the opponent with double damage first, you're guaranteeing 1 damage immediately instead of just 2 damage upfront if the opponent does block. Alright, so it does get a bit complicated, but it's okay, we'll explain it later in the game itself, because he's actually going to go for the Spirit's impact 1, so it's going to be an impact 2, and not choosing to give the impact 1 to the left side here, as he does go for the impact 2 here, and I have to question a bit because I just immediately take it and that's only 1 damage. So he does question there because he also forgot just slightly about how impact 2 works, so that's very unfortunate for his end and lucky for my side. But I don't think this a misplay from his side is actually able to secure my win, given that I dropped all my bodies after that. I have 0 4K bodies, and this is pretty tough, I'll be very honest. I'm gonna go for my last turn here. He does have 3 life, alright, and if you were to look back, he actually had 3 Lady Blacks, so basically that's like 3 extra life. So this game would have already been over, but unfortunately it's not over, as we do go for the Ochako here, which allows us to play 1 Deku here, for free from the drop zone. And we're gonna go for the Bakugo for the 2 AP, and like I mentioned just now, Ochako is such a great card. It can't be blocked by 4Ks and above, and all his front row is actually 4Ks. And we do hit him into 1 life here, and of course he doesn't block them. But the game is pretty close if you ask me. But however, Lady Black is just pretty insane if you have the luck to pilot it. And healing is just so strong. And I'm really scared if they were to introduce more healing down the road in the UA game. So let's just hope that you just leave it at Lady Black. Because Lady Black, the bonus is that they are all non-triggers. So the healing is just one extra life. But like I mentioned, life as a resource is pretty good. We're gonna see a Spirit actually bouncing or Ochako once again, going to go for the last swing. We do hit into a final though, so we do heal one, ironically. But it's not enough because, you know, he does have 3 more attacks and this will be game. And of course, the better hero takes the win. So this is the hero deck list if you guys are interested in, basically the Lady Black. And this will be the Class A deck list if you guys are interested in as well. Thank you for watching till the end, and do consider subscribing, dropping a like and a comment if you guys do enjoy the content.